So today we are going to cover dictionaries. Dictionaries are advanced data structures, as we have learned earlier about lists and tuples. Today we are going to learn about dictionaries. So dictionaries here are essentially a collection of data items. And I have a little issue here with my typing. So it's a collection of data items structured as a key value pair. What does that mean? Um, I can give you examples so you can actually see what it means, and then we can go back to the definition again. Like the word in a dictionary and the meaning of the word. If you go to dictionary.com and then you plug in a word, it gives you the meaning. So the word here is actually the key, and the meaning is a value. So that's what it means here for a key value pair. Is like a pair of two pieces of information. One of them is the key where we use to retrieve actual value. So if we also take a look at the person's name and their phone number in the address book, or actually phone book. So this is also another example of a dictionary. And also, students, any student in any university has a student ID, and by plugging in the student ID, you get back all the information about the student name, social security number, concentration, grades, and what have you. Also, the recipes. If you plug in a recipe name, like ratatouille, for instance, you will see that it requires zucchini and tomato and onions and spices and so on. So these are just some examples of dictionaries, and now I'm going to walk you through one specific example, which is a phone book. This is really the simplest way of doing a dictionary example. Suppose we have four people here, and we want to store them into a dictionary. So now before we actually store them in a dictionary, we need to know how to create a dictionary. So I am going to create a dictionary by giving it a descriptive name. It's phone book is good. Phone book, like that. And the syntax for the dictionary is with the curly braces, these guys. That's it. That's all we need to do to create a dictionary. If we want to create a dictionary and then immediately populate it with the data, what we might need to do is to start entering the data here, and the data will be the key and the value. So this is my key. It has to be put in a single quote like that, or double quote, it doesn't matter. And then there is a colon here, and then the value would be listed after, which is also something that must be placed if placed in a double in a single quote or double quote. So this is my first element here, and then the elements are going to be separated by a comma here. So this is very important. And then the second element will come after that, becomes almost mechanical. So now we gonna enter Jack, and with the colon, this is the key for Jack, and then the value is the actual phone number, right here, like that. And then we are not done yet, so we actually add more. We add more elements. So Molly here has a phone number, and her phone number is right here, like that. So I've given you all these things to make it really easy for you, so you don't have to come up with your own examples of understanding what a dictionary is, and then we imagine it. Why imagining it? Let's just do it. And then Ryan, you have Ryan here. That's the key for the person in the address book, and Ryan's phone number is this, like that. So now if I run this, hopefully, I have to run it as a code, because right now I was on, again, I need to run it as a code versus a markdown. It's not a markdown, it's a code. Okay, now, so let's just make new elements here. So if I say this dictionary exists or not, it does exist right here. This is good. So what I did basically, I placed the dictionary here in the cell, and then I did the run, and then it basically it is really equivalent to print. The Jupyter Notebook makes it really nicely to see what's going on in there. So now we know that we create a dictionary. Okay, how do we get a value from that dictionary? So, for instance, if I want to look up Ryan's phone number, how do I do that? Well, I know that the dictionary has a name which called phone book, and if I actually want, excuse me, if I want to retrieve Ryan's number, then I actually need to use Ryan's name like that. So by specifying the key in this square brackets, and I pass the key as a string, then I will be able to retrieve it. You gotta have to realize that when you create the dictionary, you're gonna have to use the curly braces. When you actually have to retrieve a value from the dictionary, you're gonna have to use the square brackets. It could be a little bit confusing, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be fine. Now, if I print Ryan, Ryan's phone number, I see that I already recorded Ryan as 502-9162, and indeed, I was able to get Ryan's phone number correctly here. Okay, now what if I want to see if Molly exists in the dictionary or not, or even John? We don't know if we have John or not. We don't. So suppose now I want to see if Molly exists. Molly, like that, Molly, as we spelled it. There could be other. Is if Molly in the dictionary, like that, we use if statement here. Then I'm going to say yes, she does exist. Okay, now I want to ask. Well, before I ask, let's just do this and see if Molly exists or not. Yes, she does exist. What about John? Let me do that in another cell. Now, if John in the phone book, like that. Now I'm going to say yes, otherwise, else, print John is not found. John is not found. Something really simple here. We're basically using John as a key to see if John exists in the dictionary or not. And then if we run this, it says John not found. Let's take a look at the address book and see if we actually have John or not. Okay, so it appears that we really don't have John, but we have Molly. Molly here exists. John does not exist. This is really great. All right, so why not being able to add John and Tyler? If John was really important to us and Tyler is important to us, why not use their? Why not add them in the address book, so we can call them? When I mean the address book, I actually meant the phone book. So we can call. We can call them when we need to get in touch with them. How do I add a new item to the dictionary? Let's start with Tyler first. So to be able to add an element into this dictionary, it's really simple. We're gonna use, again, anytime you want to access the dictionary, after you create it, you're gonna have to use the square brackets as I'm highlighting them like that. Okay, so now if I want to add an entry for John, like that, so I'm just going to make this entry here, assume that there is an entry here called John, and I'm going to pass the phone number for John. And let's say 879 12 5 like that. So by assigning this value here on the right hand side of the assignment operator to the new entry that we just created, we're going to create this in on the fly, and then we're going to pass the phone number here like that. And I don't know what happened. I want to make sure that it runs. It did run, but we don't have okay. So now how do I know that if John exists or not? Well, let's copy these guys and see if John exists or not. So oops, we said she, we actually need to change that. He does exist like that. All right. It will be also really nice if we also print John's phone number to see what is the phone number for John. So we're going to just print it right away by using the square brackets here. And we're going to pass the key, which is John's name. So we're going to say, yes, he does exist. And then we prove that he exists by printing his phone number. Here it is. So this is really great. Now we created John. Let's create Tyler. Tyler is phone number too. We know that Tyler does not exist because we already see that Tyler is not here, and we don't have to check again because the point of the checking here was to show you how to do that. But now we know how to check if a person exists or not. We don't need to do that again. We just need to add the person that we want to add, which is Tyler. There's a phone book here, like that. All right, where? So I'm just gonna add another entry like that. Tyler is how Tyler spells his name. Where? Okay. Tyler. Okay, Tyler like that. And we are going to assign a number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we do that and then we print Tyler like that from the address book, we are going to see Tyler's phone number. So what we are supposed to see right now is this when we run this code. So we go here, we run the code, and indeed we are able to get the phone number. All right. Now how do I suppose you're done with John has a new address book. John has a new phone number, and his old phone number is no longer needed. So you want to delete that phone number. How do I delete that phone number? So delete here, there is actually a keyword called del, D-E-L, delete. And then if we specify the actual entry that we want to do like that by basically specifying the phone book, open bracket, and then John, close bracket. This is going to show me that John is no longer there. And if we actually create another cell here like that, we will be able to, we can also check now to see if John's phone number exists or not from the code that we've already written above. And it says John is not found because we just deleted it. Okay, now we've been adding and deleting and removing and all that stuff. How many elements do we have? Is that something that we can do? Well, it's really easy. Remember the len function that we covered in class for the list of items, of grocery items, and so on. So the list here can give us the length of the element of the dictionary as well. So the dictionary is called phone book, like that. And if I invoke the length function like this, this is going to immediately print to me the number of elements that we have. I can also be sure to print all the elements as well. And then this is going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Kate and Jack and Molly and Ryan and Tyler. So this is 5 elements, and indeed we have the length of 5 elements. The reason why we did not see the number 5 here, because in Jupyter Notebook the last element only gets printed, everybody else is actually evaluated. So now if we print the length, it gives us 5, and then if we print the actual content of the address book, then it gives us the actual elements, and they are indeed 5. Now suppose I want to I'm really happy with Kate and knowing her number, and I'm really happy that I have Jack and his number, and Tyler and Ryan, and so on. Sorry about this. What we need now is perhaps update the dictionary and be able, or maybe create a new dictionary where I can have Kate's number and email address, and Jack's number and email address, and Tyler's number and email address, right? How do we do this? Let's create a new dictionary, and now we've become masters at creating dictionaries. Let me just run this to make it a more readable text, like that. So now I'm gonna call it complex phone book, like that. I like to use complex and long names, but they are really descriptive. So right now I'm just gonna create an empty one, like that, and I will have it here. Now I would like to use all the names that I had in the, above. So for instance, I have Kate here. Kate's phone, let me just make sure. Kate. So Kate here has a phone. So I would like to add an entry for Kate, like that. And I would like to add her phone number and email address, right? How do I do that? Well, I knew how to add a phone number, and I could do this, like that. And if I run it, this is only gonna give me Kate's, and if I can actually print it here, like this is only gonna show me Kate's phone number. So is there a way that I can create a value that is much more complex than just one single item? Well, if you remember that we actually use something called tuple, and these tuples are advanced collection of variables. So if we list the phone number and then appended by or followed by the email address, and place it in the parentheses to make this as a tuple. So now the value here, the value is a tuple, like that. So now if we run this one more time, and then we search for Kate's value, then we see that Kate actually has a phone number and an email address. I could do the same for Ryan or Tyler. So we can. So I'm just gonna here. It might be easier to just type it. Complex phone, and I'm going to enter the value for Tyler, like that. So Tyler is going to give us his information in a form of a tuple. The phone number that we have for Tyler is 2345678, like that, and the Tyler's email address is Tyler at email.com, something like that. Now we can also do the same for Ryan as well, complex phone, like that, and then we create a new entry for Ryan, like that, and we also create another tuple. And where is Ryan's phone number? 502 9162, like that. And then Ryan's email, like that, would still be in as a string, Ryan, like that, at mail.com. So one is email.com and one is mail.com. Everybody has their own favorite email. All right, so now if I want to ask if Ryan exists or not, or simply just print Ryan is or Tyler. Here we're gonna print Tyler is information. So Tyler gives me when I search for Tyler in my address book or phone book, now it gives me the phone and the email, and I can do the same thing for Ryan, like that. And this is gonna give me Ryan is information, which is essentially what we have here: 502-9162, 502-9162. Perfect. All right, that's it.